going to create a design in CorelDRAW. And it's not the easiest one, but it's not, the shapes and everything are simple and easy to draw out. So this is the one that I chose today, actually. And this project is going to require us to go in and create a design for a school, okay? And it's going to be for an academy, and we're going to call it the Bright Academy. And so in CorelDRAW, and if you did not know it, if you're running the full decoration and the embroidery studio designing packages, you can also create graphics in the embroidery side as well. And here it's giving us just a different way of going in and creating graphic files here. And today, again, this art here is not good. As I zoom into it, you can see how bad this artwork is. And this could be something that could be used for print purposes here. And so right now, at this point, it is not camera ready. It's not ready to be shot for production. And so we're going to go in, and I'm going to show you how to go in and create something like this in a design. Okay, in CorelDRAW, you have your list of tools. You have your drop menus up top here. Okay, and they're basically kind of the same as the inside the embroidery mode. And you also have a list of toolboxes here on the side. And with these toolboxes here on the side, if you want information about any of these, actually here, if I left click this here, across the top here, we have a section here that that's called hints, actually, and it just gives you some information about that toolbar, that toolbox, and what that toolbox does inside the software here. And the pick tool here is going to allow you to select objects, okay? And it works kind of the same as it does in the embroidery mode. And you can select multiple objects also just by clicking and pressing down your shift key to select multiple items. This second toolbox here is called shape objects, or it's your shape tool. And pretty much, again, it works like the one inside the embroidery mode. And here, this lets you go in and change and modify shapes in CorelDRAW. And so that's what this tool does, actually. You can also access this tool, of course, by clicking F10 on your keypad. The next one here, once I click this is a crop tool. And I'm going down this list of tools here that we're going to use today. Not going to cover everything here. We're just going to use the tools, go over the tools that we're going to use today, actually. And this crop tool here is extremely important because this tool allows us to go in and crop designs. And why is this important? Because in embroidery, you know, when you start, well, it could be graphics as well. When you start to create a design, as I always ask you, what's the most important thing? The most important thing, the number one question when it comes to designing anything, what's the big question? The most important question. Hello, Carl, welcome. If you're going to do anything, if you're going to design a car, anything that's been ever created has had a graphic of that. And you're absolutely right, Carl, it's the size. If you don't know the size of the finished graphic or the finished embroidery, you may as well just put everything down and go back to sleep, okay? Because if you don't get this right, right up front, it's going to cost you time, okay? And it is very, very important to do this. Again, number one, okay? Hi, Gail, welcome. And not only when we talk about the finished size of the embroidery, if I were just to go in and click on this right now, if I were just going to go in and I'll click my pick tool here and select this, this is telling me this is the size of the design, okay? And what we're looking at is we're looking at a lot of white space here. So if this design is going to be 3 inches tall, then this is not 3 inches, okay? it's going to be a problem if we don't handle this right now. Inside CorelDRAW, we have rulers here, just like we have rulers in the embroidery side. And we could actually put in guides, okay? And the way that you put the guides in here are a little bit different here, because here, if I click inside the ruler here and just left click my mouse button, hold it down and drag it out like this, it'll give me a guide just like this. And I can put this one over here like that, okay? I can click here again and put that in up top here. As I left click and hold my mouse button down, here I can go in and add, left click and drag like this. So now I have a way of going in and I can at least crop this design and get rid of all this white space, okay? And at this point, you will navigate and you click on your crop tool, okay? With the crop tool, it's going to give you a little icon here on your screen, and I'm going to click on the corner here. I missed it there, but it's okay, because here, even if I miss it here, I can go back. I'm going to release it here. Here I can go back here, I can grab a corner and I can still move this out like this, okay? And the embroidery mode is not as forgiving, but here I can at least go in and I can change this. I can move these, click on these node points and move them out. And once I get this, the size that I want with this, I'll just double click it, okay? And now when I click on my select tool here, now I've got the actual size here of this image here on my screen, okay? And because of that now, I can feel much more comfortable here going in. Here's the size here, and I'm just going to type in 3.0. But before I do this, before I change the size, because right now if I miss this, I'm going to make an error here that I can fix. But this is your scale factor lock ratio, okay? And right now this is telling me that it's unlocked. And what this means now, so if I go in and let me just do a different size, if I do 5.0 and press enter, it's going to do that, okay? And so now I'm going to have to go in, I'm going to have to undo this. And so whenever I go in, before I change the size on anything, unless I'm purposefully going in to do this, I'm going to have to make sure that my my locks are turned on. And now when I go in and I make this 3.0, it changes it in proportion like that. So that's very important to remember when you're looking at designs like this. Okay, so now I have a design here that is 3 inches. And keep in mind that we also have text that we need to add to this design also, okay? And by adding that text, that's going to include this entire size here. So in the end, this is going to be even a bit smaller, okay? And we'll worry about that, and we'll change that size again later after we put the text in. But right now, we just want to go in and create this. Now, if you're creating this as a full vector graphic, you can save this here. If I go to File here and I can save this as a CorelDRAW file, CDR file, and I can place this in my folder here, and I have online graphics projects here, and I can name this creating graphics. CorelDRAW. And I'll give this a date here, 08/05/2021. Okay, and it is a CorelDRAW CDR file. Okay, I can name my EMB file if I'm gonna advance this and also do an embroidery file from this also. I'm gonna name this the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna click save here, and that's gonna save my design. And now I can continue. Now, what I'm going to do here also is I want to click this, and when I'm working, I don't want this to move around on the screen. Oops, because that could be very annoying. And so I'm going to right click on this and have a choice here to scroll down my drop menu, and I'm going to lock this on the screen so it doesn't move. Okay, and again, you can see the lock tabs here, and now I realize that this is not going to move on the screen now. Okay, and so at this point here, I can look at my design just like you would look at an embroidery design. You check this out, and what I think what most graphic designers who are not familiar with embroidery, when they're creating their designs, they don't know what to do to the graphic in order for it to be embroidered correctly. And with print, you can make things so tiny, microscopic, if you will, but it doesn't work for stitching and for thread and a needle. Okay, you have a needle that's a millimeter wide. Okay, and you've got thread that we're working with, and so there are obstacles that we have when someone creates a logo, and because 9 times out of 10 they're not thinking about, well, I may want to get this embroidered later on. They're not thinking about that. Okay, they're just thinking about the graphic, getting that done. Lots of times very, very tiny, and that's when the digitizer suffers when we get to the other side, because we have to go in and we have to space things out. We have to edit those to prepare those for stitching. And so if the graphic artist doesn't understand that, then it could be a challenge for the digitizer. But if you've got a graphic artist that can digitize, I mean, it's a gold mine if they understand, because they can actually go in now, unless they're going to create 2 different designs. Okay, and it's the same scenario like with embroidery. Sometimes if you're going to create a design for a cap or a left chest design, are you going to digitize it for the cap, or are you going to just create a separate design for a left chest? That's the digitizer's choice. Okay, here, if I'm digitizing this as a graphic, I'm saying, and I know for a fact that this is going to be something that's going to be embroidered later on. Okay, I'm gonna create this in a way that it's going to be easy for graphics and also easy for embroidery. Okay, but go here. I'm going to click to fit here to increase the size of this. Now, another tool here that we're going to be using is we have our freehand tools here. And so right now with these tools here, if I click here, we have a list of tools here that we can draw with in CorelDRAW. Okay. Now, the ones that I use the most is going to be the freehand tool. You have the Bezier tool. You have the pen tool. Now, the freehand tool, or you can press F5 once I select it here. It works this way. And again, on this side, it gives you information about this tool. Okay. And so I can left click and hold my mouse button down and draw with this tool like this. So if I'm doing a lots of freehand type graphics here, I can use that tool to go in and use with the freehand graphics. Okay. Another one is going to be the Bezier tool. The Bezier tool works this way. Again, once I left click here, if I move my mouse out here and left click here and turn it like this, it's gonna give me an angle like this actually, or a curve. Okay, when I'm drawing. Okay, and so that's how that particular tool works. The pen tool. The pen tool is one that I like also here. With the pen tool, again, lets me draw. I can just left click here and just draw my objects on the screen like this. If I want to close that object, I'll go back to where I started here. You'll see a little square there. Once I left click it, it'll close that particular shape. The one that I absolutely love the most is the B-spline. This tool here lets you go in, and as a matter of fact, this is what I'm going to use to go in and create this design here. And right now, as I'm looking at this design, figuring out what, looking at my colors here to figure out what I'm going to do with this. Again, I'm already looking at this as an embroidery design. So my mind is on the embroidery machine already just by looking at this, and I could literally hear the machine running right now in the back of my mind, and I can see this thing stitching out on the machine right now. Okay, and some may think that's a little odd, but I've been doing this for a long time, and so I can't help it. And so right now, as I'm looking at this with the B-spline tool, this lets you go in and once I left click, now here we have points and we have curves. To input a point here or a corner, I'll have to press the V as in Victor key on the keypad like this. And this lets me do straight lines like this by pressing and holding down the V key. Okay. If I'm just going in my first key like this, if I'm clicking here and moving my mouse, you see it automatically does the turn like this. And once I stop, I'll press V and it goes back like this. So that the B-spline tool is the one tool that I really, really like because it makes it easier for us who are used to using a mouse, and it's a great tool. Okay. All right. So as we continue with this design, we'll get rid of these later. And so now we also have a color palette over here. We can select our colors. Okay. We can click the down arrow here to see more colors. And we could also click the arrows here where it pulls out this and it gives us more colors like this. Okay, this is a graphics program, and so we get definitely going to have more colors available to us with this. And so, and I'm looking at the colors here and looking at how I'm going to do this. Again, I'm already at the embroidery machine. Okay, so right now, as I go in and do this design, look at my colors here. And so right now, I can start with this. These colors can change later on. This color. And here, I want to keep this as a graphic. Okay. So right now, as I go in and create my shapes with this, I'll choose my B-spline tool here like this. And to start this, again, I'm going to press my V as in Victor key, left click here. That's my point. And I'm just going to go in and just left click my mouse button here like this to create this shape. As I get to the inside, I'll press my V key down because I want this to be a straight line and another straight line here. And I'll remove my finger from the V key now, and I'll continue with the shape. Okay. Any corner, press your V key and left click. Corner, V key, corner, V key. Go back here to left clicking here. To close this shape, I'll press V and left click here. And so this gives me my shape here. And if I miss something, if I go in, I'm using my mouse button here to zoom in. If I need to go in and adjust any of these, I can select my shape tool. The shape tool shows me the node points that I put in, like you see here. So if I need to move something, I can click this node point here. It turns dark. I left click it and I can pull it in like this. You see the outline? So this lets me go in and lets me adjust this, move that line in if I have to. And so that's what this allows me to do. And so with this, I've got my color here with this. And I'm going to leave the outline on here, even though it's not going to be outlined or it won't be outlined once it's embroidered. But I'm just going to leave this just like that. Okay. I'm going to go to File here, Save this as a CDR. And save this. All right. So once that's done, I'll do the next one here. B-spline tool, same color here. Press the V key down like this. V, V, and close. Okay. And I'll just continue with this. The colors can change later on. Okay. So here's I go up top here. In digitizing mode, here again, V, left clicking, just like this. Left clicking here. I'm going to press V here for my corner. And just, if you're new to this, just take your time. Whenever I want a corner, I'll press that V key down and I'll close this like that. Okay. All right. So I'll click my pick tool here for that one. So I've got those colors done. Okay. And by having these colors done, hi, Susanna, welcome. Thank you. So right now, so as I continue to do this, I'll just go to my next color. Oh, and look in here. So this one, again, these are things that can be changed later on. Okay. And so I'll change colors here. I'll choose this color next here, like this one. And I want to use this as a graphic. So I'll verify. And again, I'll start the next set of my colors here. And so right now here, I can start from the inside as I'm holding down the V key, press it left for a line point. And as I'm left clicking this, whenever I want to have that corner, I'll press the V key down as in victory. Okay. Just doing my V as in victory as I close this out. Here I have a circle, and with the circle tool, I can click here. And with this tool, it lets me go in and I can left click this. If I press the control key down, it makes it a perfect circle. Okay. If I press the shift key down, it lets me do an ellipse like this. But I want a perfect circle, so I press my control key down and I'll left click to fill that in. I'll navigate here back to my pick tool, and I can just move this up like that to put that in position. Okay. All right. Again, I'm going to go back to my B-splice tool here as I press that V key down for that straight, and anything else that I go in and add here. If you make a mistake, you can press your backspace key while you're still in digitizing mode. Like this, V, as I continue here with this one, V, 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 left click. And this tool, as I press V again here, this tool really helps anyone that's new to CorelDRAW. This is a great tool because it helps because you don't have to go in and do this manually. You have a tool here that actually goes in and helps you with the curves, and curves are huge because curves you can really mess something up if you're not going in to do it with the curves correctly, and it does help out immensely. As I press V, going again here, I'll press V, V here, just like this, V. And this takes, like anything else, it takes getting used to when you're going and creating shapes here in CorelDRAW. But like I mentioned earlier, you could also do this in the Wilcom side as well. We have a class on that as well. Now here, I need to go in and kind of edit this outline here like that. And I'm just going to navigate over to my shape tool. Okay, and here my node points, I'll click it to make it dark here and just move this out and I can see the outline just like this. Anything that needs to be adjusted, I can adjust it just like that. Okay, I'm gonna go to File here. Save that. All right, so at this point here, now I'll just continue with this and I'll choose a gray. Use my arrow here to go up like this. Now, here, again, I have a curve here or circle. Now I could just as easily select this, click on the circle here. I'm gonna right click on this and move that here. And I'm gonna copy that here. And I'll change the color here to gray. Okay. And while I'm there, as I go in, now you also have a tool. If I press H as in Harry, notice it gives me a hand here. This is the pan tool. Okay, the pan tool allows you to view different parts of the design. I can click my mouse button and move this around. Okay, and that's what this tool is for. Okay, and again, as I go back here, I'll choose my B-spline here, and as I start here, I'll press my V, just like this. V here. Just trying to get that shape from this incredibly bad artwork here. Press V again here. Oops. All right, and I'm going inside. Remember, this is going to be smaller because the entire design itself is going to be 3 inches. V here. V here. V. V. V here. Oops. Did do a V there. Just click backspace. Press the V key down. Left click. V, left click, and close. Okay. As I continue with this, select my color here. Yes. Graphic here. As I press my V key here like this. And V again here. And V. I'll choose my shape tool. This tool here should be a curve. So I'm gonna select this tool here. It came out as a line point here. I'll press this, and I want to make this a curve. Just out here like that. If I select it, if I want to adjust anything, I'll click here and just move this in, just like that. And as I continue with this here, I'll press my V key down like this. Choose my B-spline. V. and V and V, V here. And at the end here, I'll press V here to close this, like that. Okay, so now, as we continue with this, these two pages here, I kind of want to make it a different color here. So I'll make it a lighter color with those. Yes, I'm going to use it as a graphic. So my B-spline tool here, V. V. V for the corner. V for the corner. If I make an error here, I can press my backspace key. I'll do a V here and a V here. Okay. And next, this one is a little bit, this one's darker. Oops, undo. Got to make sure that nothing is selected, because I choose B-spline here again, and I'll choose a darker color here. As I go in here with my V key here again, V key, V for a corner, V here also. And right now, as I'm going here, press V here. And if I have to make that slightly darker, I can make that slightly darker like that. Okay, my choice here. All right, next here on the bottom, I've got a little shadow thingy here going on the bottom. I'll just choose my ellipse here, drag this in like that, click. Select, use my arrow key at 12 o'clock to move that over like that. Okay. Now here, if I'm going to use it as a CDR file here like this, here, if I choose save as, this is going to take me to the embroidery side, and this is not what I want to choose for something like this. Okay. Because right now I want to go in and I want to make this a CDR file. So I'll save this and make sure that I save this as a CDR file. And this CDR file is like it's like an EMB file for the Embroidery Studio. That's how important that file is for CorelDRAW. Okay. Here, I'm just going to select these and get rid of these. Don't need these. Now, right now, for this graphic here now here I have a choice, because right now, if I want to go in, if I don't want an outline here, I have a choice. I can select the object here. Now I'm going to navigate over here, here to my color palette. Up top, you have a tool here that if I right click this tool, you see what happened? If I left click it, here I'm going to undo it here. So if I don't want a separate color here, if I don't want a border, I would right click this tool here and this tool eliminates. Okay. If I don't want the inside fill, I would left click it. Okay. So the left click eliminates the inside fill. A right click on the top here eliminates the border. Okay. And that's what that does. Okay. So if I, at this point now, now that I have this, this graphic here done at this point, if I needed to go in, I can select everything and I can right click here. It eliminates all of the black outlines. Okay. All right. So at this point here now, I'm going to file, save as a CDR file, and and save. Okay. And Carl's a question. Uh, great question, Carl. Carl asked, what's the advantage to do it with CorelDRAW instead of Embroidery Studio? Well, I think that if you, it's more so a choice, the digitizer's choice with this. If you're doing screen printing and things like that, you may want to stick to the CorelDRAW side of this because you have more options as far as going in and adjusting, editing the graphics, you know, the colors and things like that, Pantone colors and all the other stuff. This is just a more geared toward like screen printers, you know, if they're using CorelDRAW with this. And but you can go in and you could use the Embroidery Studio, which I do quite frequently, to create the vector art with actually and things of that nature as well. And you could again move that over to the CorelDRAW side, and you could save it as a CDR file. And so you have the best of both worlds really with this. And if you're used to going in and using the Corel, if it's easier for you to use the CorelDRAW side of this, that's what you're going to use, especially if you're a screen printer. Okay, an embroiderer, you know, being able to go in and do that, it's excellent because now you have again the best of both worlds. And Gail says, can you save this as a convert it to as a CVG file? And so now, right now, with this design, if I go File here and I choose Export, Export gives you a list of files here that you can save to. There's your SVG. So the answer is yes. Again, so in this particular case, you'll choose Export the design out because this gives you many more options to save this in all of these different formats here. Okay, and again, that's again one of the benefits of using the CorelDRAW side of this because this is full graphics. Okay, great questions. All right, so now we've got our image here that we saved. So now we're going to go in, we're going to add some text to this image. Okay, and we're going to do this. Yeah, right now I don't need these lines here, and so I'm going to double click on them. And once I double click here, I can go in and it's going to give me a pop-up here. And I want to just choose my little trash can. Double click. Trash can. And my fingers are moving a little bit fast. Not sure what happened there, guys. I'm going back in. Click something too fast. But it's okay because what? I saved my design. And that's the importance of saving and saving often, because I'm telling you, if you've ever gone in and you're creating a design and when creating that design and you spent hours on it, and if you forgot to save the design for some strange reason, the pain of that will make you not do that again. Okay, and so as this is opening up, again, we use it as a lesson. And so what's worse than the software going down like it did just now? What's worse is you not saving that design. That's much worse than the software going down. Okay, so these things also happen to me as I am not see here, Susanna. All right, so right now, and so now, so this comes up. if you've ever seen this before. So if you've had designs that were still in the queue on your screen here, they are now auto recovery files, okay? And you have a choice where you can actually go in and load those up now, or I'm going to choose I don't want to load those now, okay? Take us back here, and I'm just going to go back here to CorelDRAW. It's thinking. All right, so back in business. So right now, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to do a page here. I'll go to File, and I want to go in and I want to, if I choose, if I choose File and Import, the options that I have here for this, all formats, okay, CDR, and I'm just going to go to my training, and I'm going to go to my graphics projects here, and I will right click here, by date modified here. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go to the CorelDRAW. I'm going to open up the, actually CorelDRAW is already open here. And I'm going to go to New. And here, this allows you to go in to open a design, okay? And by me opening the design here are my online files here. So you notice before, so what I normally do is, this is what I'll normally do. I open up the Corel connected to the Wilcom because I wanted to see if it was going to show me this, but it didn't. So I had to open up, go to the full version of CorelDRAW, outline. Okay. So right now I'm going to go in and, oops. Let's see here, online graphics. And let me type in creating. And this is very interesting, guys. And we know we saved the design. So as we go in, and if we choose the CDR, Okay, so here it is. There we go. There we are. I do apologize for the delay there. We found it. Okay, here's our design, and we don't need the rest of these here. These are like backups. And so right now, we're going to go in and we're going to go to our letter A here. The letter A is going to allow us to use the fonts inside the software. And right now, I'm going to click here on the bottom. I know that I can move this later. And so I'm going to type in here at this particular point here, the bright. And I want Academy on the second line, so I'll press enter here. You know what? I'm going to go backspace here. That'll be one. And I want to do another one here. So I click here, and I'll do Academy. Okay, so I have the Bright Academy here. And so at this point now, when I go in and look at this, I want to use different fonts for these, or I want to adjust or change the font for this one on the bottom here actually. And so right now, as I select this, at the same time up top here, I have the ability to click here and bring down my little guide here. And I can also, once I select this here like that, I can click on the left side and bring this to the center here. So right now, when I select this, and up top here also, I can access my fonts. If I click my down arrow here, it'll give me all of my fonts here that I have for my Windows TrueType fonts. And as I scroll down this list here, I will search for a font. And what I'm also doing here at the same time is I'm going to find a font that's going to embroider good. Because when you go in and when you're working with these fonts, it's good, especially if you're having to create this yourself. It's always better to go in, just find a font that's going to work for embroidery. Okay, Comic Sans is a good font. I like this font. If I look at this here, I want to use the bold. Okay, and if I use Academy here with this Comic Sans bold, and so right now, and I want to stretch this out here also. I want to stretch this out, and so I'm going to press my Shift key down and kind of pull this out like that. And so right now, it's up to us to be able to go in and adjust and change the letters here. And I may change this later on here. But for this one, I just want to be able to go in and be able to use my text here for this. And again, remember, the overall size for this was 3 inches tall, right? So we do have to go back in. And I'm looking here also, I'm trying to decide whether I want to use uppercase text here. I'll click on the letter A and I'll backspace. And I just want to see what this looks like. BRI. And click on the select tool here. And now also, I'm going to select, first I've got to go in and I'll select everything. I'll navigate up top. Again, I have to make sure that I lock this first. And so this should be 3 inches tall. So I'll type in 3.0. And this is my new size here for the design. Okay. Now, again, the font can be changed here. This is just a kind of a reference basically for this. And I can select this and press my shift key down, bring these in like this. And so right now, guys, so this is our new design. This thing here, would you rather have me, would you rather have me leave this on, or do you want me to get rid of this design? Because it's because it's not something that we like need now, because we just created a new one and we have a brand new vector design. So what do you want me to do with this one? Should we get rid of it? Or do you want to look at it to see how bad it looked before we actually went in and did something beautiful to it? Okay, so I'll just leave it on the screen. Okay, and I'm going to click save here. All right, so guys, so this is our design, guys, that we digitized this graphic here for, and it's something that we're going to use for to possibly just print. Maybe, I mean, maybe you're going to just print these on some duffel bags or something like that. And so just to be able to have the option when you go in and create something, you know, you want to be able to you want to be able to do everything possible with it that you can to make some cash. Okay, and so with this, we could just leave this like it is here. Now, if we go to the next level with this now, let's say if we go in and not only do we want to create a vector design for our customer, but we also want to go in and we also want to create an embroidery file for it also. Again, and that just takes on a new meaning for it, basically, if you're going to go in and do that with it. Okay. And so at this point now, if I wanted to go in, and I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to select this one. I'm going to right click this and duplicate it. Copy here. With this selected, go to object here, and I like to go to object and convert it to curves, because that again allows for better editing with this. And I'm going to, you know what, right click this, I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go back to the embroidery, and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so here's our design here. So now we've took it out of the full Corel mode. Now we're in the embroidery studio mode with this, where we can go in and select this and object here, already converted to curves, and let's see what it looks like. And I'm just gonna see what it looks like actually. And now when we take it over to the embroidery side of this, so now this is what we're looking at here on the embroidery side of this. Okay, and this class today, and Gil's asking, okay, I'll do it again. Let me undo this. Go back over to the, so from here to the other side, Gail, or from the full version of Corel to here and then convert it. Okay, so let me undo this one. We'll delete this one. Okay, so now, we went back in earlier and we went back into the full version of CorelDRAW, which means I don't need this one now. And right now, in CorelDRAW, you know, with the vector here, because keep in mind that this is a CorelDRAW. It's the same CorelDRAW that you have in embroidery mode, but this one, what makes this full version different, it has the full graphic capacity of graphic software, like for screen printers and things like that also. And so you have more options here. And right now, so I can still create a vector graphic here. I can select this, I can right click on this, I can choose copy. And it's the great part here, being able to go back over to the embroidery side of things. And I'm just going to choose paste. Okay, there's our design. Okay, and so at this point now here, I can go in and it is a 2.205. I'm going to change the size of this to 2.05. 2.05. Oops, wrong one. 2 point. Let's do this. Okay, and so now for the height of this, it's 3.0. So right now, click over this, and this should be 3.0 like this. And I can now select this whole thing here like that. I'm going to group this together. I'm going to press P as in Paul to center that. Okay, and now I got my graphic here sized up to perfection. And at this point now, I can select this and I can go in and I can use my convert to embroidery. And so this, you know, this process here is pretty cool because, you know, it gives you the option here. And again, I don't have to convert this. I could just go in now and just digitize this manually if I wanted to into an embroidery file. And so, you know, the options that you have for this are tremendous. Being able to go in and do something like that. Ooh, you know, do this. If I select everything here, go to object. Oh, I'm going to convert it to curves first. Remember, select it, convert it to curves first, and then do the conversion. Okay, it'll make a difference because once you convert it to curves, it'll hold its properties basically. Because when you go in and you just convert it, you want to make sure that that the outlines are in an editable position actually. Okay, all right. All right, so, and it didn't do, it could have been worse here with these. Again, so at this point now, in the creation part of this, you know, I was able to go in, these can be modified here. If I click on my edit tool and choose the automatic knife tool, for some of these letters, okay? And so again, being able to go in, guys, and create the graphic, it is so important to create that graphic in a way that that it complements the embroidery design that you're going to be digitizing also. And sometimes, you know, sometimes you may not know that that they want to use it as a embroidery file, but as you're working inside the program, you know, it's great. Again, once you're able to go in and create a graphic design that's suitable for embroidery, I mean, it's a cool thing because with this, being able to use that and then go in and set this up for embroidery, it's pretty cool. Okay, and so and this is how you actually go in and do that. I would just have to go in and add a connection stitch here for color number 16, okay, because it did this one first and then it went and did this one. So I'll just have to go in and add a running stitch here, color number 16, from here to here. And then I'll go in and I'll select this one first. I'll press my control key down, choose the running stitch, and then this one, and I'll navigate here to my sequence tool, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And of course, this gray here is going to go, we'll move this down here to right there to where it's on top. Okay. So with these, it ran here to the bottom of this one. And then I'm going to press tab. So let's run this and see what it's, and again, this is minimal editing with this, and I just wanted to see what it looks like. Okay, so let's do, let's run it, Stitch Player. We know that we can go in, and we know that we can go in and adjust and change the sequence. We know that we can do that, and we know we have to go in and do the underlay stitches and all this good stuff. And here again, we will have to go in and do underlay stitches for this. But the main premise here is being able to go in and create the graphic, and also being able to use that graphic for embroidery. You could make it as easy as possible on the embroiderer when you go in, when you're doing these graphics actually. And this is, you know, the epitome of being a great digitizer, being able to do that transformation from the graphic side of it to the embroidery side, okay? And in an effort to make it look good, okay? And just looking at these items here on the screen. Then the letters. And next I'm gonna go in, and again, as we're looking at this, again, the sequence here has to be different for the lettering, but just looking at this with the conversion, you know, this is what the automatic conversion does. It doesn't make it perfect, okay? So once we do that automatic conversion, we still have to go in and make adjustments with that, okay? Like I want, close this out here. So I go in. So if I want to stitch this out here, if I want to start from the top here, because this is going to be, I'm pressing my control key down, clicking each of these like this. 1, 2, 3. And I'll start here on the bottom. After it does this one, the A, left clicking here, pressing my control key down like this, and doing 1, 2, 3 to change the sequence. Okay. And I want this is going to stitch last. So on the bottom. And now when I go in and I select this, I can go back here to CorelDRAW. And because I'm in CorelDRAW now, I can just do a save as. Okay. And here, when I look at this, when I choose my design name here like this, I'm going to click this. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back here to the embroidery mode. And when I save this design, because now it's an EMB file, okay. And here I'm going to right click rename it. Without the CDR. Press enter. Okay. And I'm going to save this. Yes. Okay. And so anything here that needs to be adjusted can be adjusted here. Spacing for the bottom portion of this. We don't want any trims here. I mean, any connection stitches. So I'm going to go to connectors, and some of these they're branched. And so depending if they're branched, you'll still have to use the inside object with those. And I'm just going to test this here. And they're mixed. Yeah, because they're mixed. Some of them are branched and some of them are not. So just to go in and select them all and to go in and do it this way. And I'm going to select this here also under my fills, 80% here. Don't need these there also. So anything else, guys, that I go in here with, and I'm in metrics. So when I go to view and I choose measure, pretty wide. So for something like this, you know, you would have to decide if you're going to use this method or if you're going to go in and split this and do this as one and do this as the other, actually. Okay, that's up to you with that. Right now it's at 7. We do 5 like this. It'll reduce it some more, but it depends on how you want to do this actually. Once you stitch it out and see what it looks like, you'll decide what you want to do with that. Okay, here with this, don't want it taking up too much space basically, because these are thin. You got this wider one here. So think if I go in and if I break this apart at this point, and again, this is something here that's extra. When I select this, and if I'm going to break this apart like this, I would have to go in and split this like that. Okay. And then I choose here for this one, as this is going to be on the inside. Again, this is extra stuff here that we're doing it right now, guys. But I just wanted to show you, move this inside like that. So again, this is something that is up for you to decide if you're going to go in and do it this way. And then after I broke it apart, then these things start coming into place also. So I'm going to go back with this, because this is the stuff that's going to require more editing with this area here on the bottom. Okay. Could I have done this in CorelDRAW? Yeah, I could have made this 2 separate objects here in CorelDRAW based on the size that we're doing this at. You know, at 3 inches tall. Another option that I have for this also, I can just go in and just select this and reduce the size to 98%, maybe even 95%, like this. That would make these shorter. And we go in like this, it's still 10.57. So again, that would be a decision that I have to make actually. And I will probably go in and split these, or even at this point now, you saw what happened with all of the, and you're correct, Vim, it is, because once I select it here, you see, it's branched. Okay, you can see the branch symbol here for the type here. And so for something like this, I mean, you'd have to make a decision as far as going in and, well, am I going to use this, or am I going to go in and am I going to make a modification for this? I could just go in and do something like this. I choose pink here, and I choose the complex turning, and do something like this. And just digitize on top of it like this. So this is, again, guys, when you go in, there's no indication that you're not going to have to do any editing with something like this, because again, you have these areas here. And the one good thing about what we did here, at least we did go in and we used the digitized it in a way that it would be simple for embroidery. But when you go in and you do the conversion part of it, you know, it still doesn't mean that you don't have to do any editing with it for something like this, just to make it work. And I could go in like this. And I could do my stitch angles like this. That's what that looks like. And so again, whether I choose to go in and change the stitch angle on this, it's totally up to the digitizer how they're going to do this actually. And press M. Now that's much shorter than 10.2, right? So for something like this, I mean, yeah, I can go in with this and use that stitch angle, and that looks much better. Okay, so again, the digitizer's choice. Okay, and that's going to look nicer than what that first one looked like. Okay, and once I right click here and I hide this, this is object number 11. Okay, so color 11, unhide. I'm going to right click this. I'm going to sequence this in by number and have this stitch before number 11. And I'm going to click OK. Okay, and now I can get rid of this one. Or where are you? Oh, it's 17. Okay. Delete this one here, and this is color number 17. So you can go in and you can fix it like this. Okay. Again, the digitizer, you know, you have to really think sometimes when you're going and you're doing these things like this, because with these, I mean, you just want it to work actually. And this this does not look better than this as an overall layout for this actually. Okay, and so that means that because this is going to work, if it worked on this end over here, you know, I might use that same effort for this over here. And who says that this has to be a little bit larger than this one? I can select this one right now, right click this, and flip this over. Here, and if I'm looking at this, it's up to me. I've got to make it work. Okay, I'll press S here to hide those, but right now, I'm trying to make this work. Okay, and it means that even if I got to go, because I'm creating this myself, and so like I said before, who says that it's got to be exactly the same size as that one? Because since I'm the one that's creating it, so right now with this, I can leave this just like that, and all I got to do now is go in and do something like this. Same thing as I did before. Okay, here I have my first one here. All I got to do now is go in and digitize this, just like this. Never let the design hold you inside a box. Especially, it's much better if you're creating it yourself. If you're creating the graphic yourself, you have more control over, what needs to be done, like this. And you can always make adjustments as you go along. Okay, you don't have to stay with what's on the ticket as far as this goes, because you are creating this from scratch. Okay, and you're trying to get this to work for embroidery, and so that's up to the digitizer to make this work. And as I press here to start and exit, and here I'll just go in and do my stitch angles like this. Because I got to make it work. Okay, that's object number 16. Okay, right click, sequence, before object number 16, press enter. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, you know what? It's it's number 4. I'm putting my glasses on now. Enter. There we go. And this can go away. This is the new number 16 here, like this. Okay. And so I was able to go in and fix that. Okay. And so, and to make it work for us with something like this, and I'm just going to click save here. Okay. So everything else here with the design, and I'm always questioning, because there's always another way. And sometimes there's several ways to do the same thing, actually. Okay. And you're just trying to get it to work, to do the best as can. Like right now, this connection stitch here, I don't want that connection stitch there. And I'd rather for the exit point to be not on the inside, but here on the outside, like this, is where I want that exit point to be. Okay. Saving here like that. All tatami stitches. I'll go to edit, choose by stitch type, and choose tatami. Click OK here. The fills here are 38, 3.8. And for the fractional spaces here, I'll do 33 and 33 this time. Okay. Underlays, edge run, and to Tommy. Save. Okay. Anything else here with these, the satins and everything like that? I'll go to edit here and use by stitch type, satin. Click OK here like this. Fills at 80% here, underlays. Center run. Save. So now, and for the text here also, I'm going to select this like that. I want to take off the shortening stitches. It'll add some more stitches to it, so I'm going to tighten it up a little bit like that, and I'm going to click save. Okay, it's got 5,936 stitches in it. Okay, and so with this, again, now because of the finished size of the embroidery, this is the finished size of the embroidery here like that. And so with something like this, I usually I like to, you could do anything you want at this particular point in the design because you're going to be digitizing it. But anything that's kind of small, I tend not to use the Florentine effect for things like that. Actually, now could we use it? Definitely, we could definitely go in and we could use it, and we could go in and change that angle to turn it like this. Sure, we can do that. As we go in here, and they're going to make sure that we change the exit points on these also. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. Okay, just like that. And so guys, so this is going to do it for this design. And I'll go here, I'll click the X here to take off all the colors that I don't need. As I click save here for that. So the design itself, basically, it's 6,074 stitches. And so we went from the vector portion of this to where we went in and created the vector object for this. And now we have the embroidered object for this. Okay, so if I click on CorelDRAW, copy this and go back to the embroidery side like this, I can paste this. And we can see the before and the end based on the original design that was created in CorelDRAW. Again, not a complex design, easy shapes and things like that. But here is what that looks like. Okay, from the vector standpoint of the design. And this is going to look better in CorelDRAW with the vectorization here. But this is what we started with here. And this is what we ended up with here, actually, from start to finish. Okay. Letters are 5 millimeters. They're definitely tall enough, because that's the one thing that when you go in and you're creating the letters, you got to make sure that the text itself basically are at least 4.5 millimeters tall. And that's what most graphic designers that don't understand embroidery, they don't know that. And so they'll make the text extremely small just for printing purposes. But when we get it, we have to change the size of the characters, because we're stitching this out. We're not printing this out. Okay, so understanding that size of the graphics initially is crucial, because it's going to save you time once you get to this particular point here. Okay, very basic, crucial, time-saving things, actually. So that's it for today, guys. Any questions? And remember, there's a gazillion different ideas that we have actually, and we're just trying to get one to fit with this. We're trying to put the puzzle pieces together with this design actually. And we started out. Thank you, Susanna. Thank you, Bronwyn. Thank you, Margaret. And so, guys, so just remember, you just keep in mind that keep it simple when you're learning, and the time that you spend with it, you'll get better and better at it actually. Okay. Thank you, Vimla, for your kind words. Thank you, Maris. And guys, if you have any ideas that we have, I know some of your suggestions, we've got them we got them down actually, and we're going to be adding those classes, and we'll be doing more of these Corel classes too. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Haifa. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sandra. Guys, thank you so much for your kind words. And you can always email me at support@willcomeamerica.com, attention James. And we also ask you to visit us on our website, www.willcomeamerica.com, for more information on online training schedules and things like that, and downloads and things like that also. And yes, Gail, we'll be doing some more Corel classes. And guys, we're also still running specials on the elements. If you have any questions about that, you can dial 1-877-657-7500. Again, if you have questions about the specials on the elements, it's 877-657-7500. Okay. All right, guys. So thank you so much for your patience with me today. And I really appreciate being here with you. Enjoy your my time with you as well. And so, as always, guys, I'll see you tomorrow at 2. And you guys have a great evening. Be safe out there. And as always, guys, happy digitizing. See you next time. Bye-bye.